again, dear listener, and welcome to episode 12, which is being recorded mere minutes after episode 11, because we talked too much bollocks about 2017, didn't we, Harry?
There was far too much bollocks. We've smashed kayfabe as well, because we've kind of given away our recording process.
Well, double bubble, innit? So this is a double event. This is a bumper edition of Smocksville Attitude, because
this is like Wrestle Kingdom followed by New Day, whatever it is, the day after. You have to watch both, or in our case, watch one and then read about the other one because you're at work,
or listen to rather.
Or listen, yeah, or whatever.
So episode 12, Wrestle Kingdom 12. Shall we just jump right on in?
Yep. We're going to review the Rumble, obviously.
No, we're not. None of us bothered watching that. Just some very misc notes here. That there were 34,995 paid in. Well, that was the paid attendance. So let's see. I mean, there's no. If that was Vince, that would be 50,000 paid. But no, 30.
Big, it looked fucking bigger than that. Jesus, is that it?
If you'd let me finish, Harry.
Okay. Oh, okay.
According to Meltzer's sources, the building was actually pretty much sold out. So obviously 35,000 paid, which is the biggest paid number in quite a while. But the attendance was near a sellout. Now, for wrestling, I think a sellout in the Tokyo Dome, if you in certain configurations of seating, could be upwards of 60,000. But I think the way that New Japan do it, Wikipedia says they had 43,000 in the building. So it is a very, very good attendance for New Japan.
It's probably, again, a testament to how good their 2017 was that this has happened.
Oh, no, well, Tokyo Dome is purely based on the previous year's booking. So, yeah, you're completely correct. And I think, yeah, Gedo's a very good booker, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no complaints about the direction the company's going at the moment, except the main event, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, and just one last little point that... Well, I know that Wrestle Kingdom 11 was seen by a lot of Americans on New Japan World. They had quite a big increase in subscribers. But apparently, we're talking of upwards of 20,000 additional subscribers to New Japan World based on this event.
That's good.
A lot of people are saying that is pretty much down to Jericho and a mega match and the international market being very interested in that, which probably does have some truth in it.
That ties into our previous episode. Again, Omega being the MVP. 20,000 extra subscribers for their terrible interface that they use for a streaming service.
I think interface is... Yeah, I think you're right there. I think the actual service itself isn't too bad. I watched New Year's Dash on it today, and it wasn't too bad at all. There was no lag or no freezing or anything. It was pretty good.
We're expecting a lot from a company that is obviously based in Japan to have English support for their sites and stuff, when in reality you have to use Google Translate to get onto it and to navigate around it. It's very basic compared to the WWE network, which is at the moment the archetype of what a streaming service.
Okay, Wrestle Kingdom 12. Wrestle Kingdom starts with the New Japan Rumble. It's kind of like a mini Royal Rumble-y thing, but obviously it includes... I think you're eliminated by getting chucked over the top rope and pinfalls.
Yes, that's right. I was told in advance, but this match is always shit, so I was like, you know what? I do the pre-show every other fucking show. It looks like it's going to be 7 hours. Fuck it, I'm just going to skip it.
Masahito Kakihara won it. He beat Bushi, Chase Owens, Cheeseburger from Ring of Honor was in it. He's a bit of a weird like favourite in Japan. David Finlay, Delirious, the Ring of Honor booker. El Desperado of Suzuki Gun. Tenzan was in it. Jushin Thunder Liger, my favourite, he was in it. The young lion Kitamura, the big massive bodybuilder looking motherfucker, he was in it.
Yes.
Leo Tonga, Nakanishi, Kojima, Taka Michinoku, Tiger Mask, Yoshihashi was in it, Kanemaru, Nagata, and Takahashi, Yujiro Takahashi. So, we had a bit of, what's her name? The Japanese lass who likes to gyrate around a bit, the Bullet Club geezer.
Oh, God, the stripper
pimp
lady.
One. Yeah, was it? I think her name is Pieta or Pieta, something like that.
I have no idea. Stripper lady.
Opening match of the evening saw the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, going up against Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. This was a good match. The Young Bucks won 18-49, and I'm just going to say it. I've seen on television, online, and in person a Young Bucks match when it's just silly spots. And I saw them at a recent Rev Pro show in December, and I enjoyed it to an extent, but it left a sour taste actually, because I wasn't a fan of how opponents are kind of just sort of weirdly buried whilst they do all their weird shtick to get over with their matches. And don't get me wrong, there's a huge audience for it, and I did enjoy it to an extent. But you don't get that with them in New Japan. You get silliness, but you still get more serious Young Bucks, and they're good. They're really good, and they're very talented, and I like their athleticism and their moves. And I thought this match was pretty good. I actually thought Sho and Yo should have retained the titles.
This is the first time I think I've seen these two wrestle Sho and Yo. I think so, because I know there was Roppongi Vice, and now they've been replaced with Roppongi 3K, which is what we've got at the moment.
Yeah, so was it Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero kind of had a real mutual breaking up of Roppongi Vice. Now, that's basically around the fact that Trent Beretta is going to the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And now Rocky Romero kind of manages Roppongi 3K. Roppongi 3, so Sho and Yo were they came back from their seasoning, when young lions get sent out. Yeah, I saw him actually. I saw him in the summer at a Rev Pro show. They did when they were out doing their seasoning and their stuff. They were known as the Tempura Boys.
Fucking hell! Really, this is them? Oh my god! I didn't even fucking click that. Jesus. They've gone full boy. They've gone full boy band though. It was so funny this match because it was literally you can hear every female member of the crowd because it's just a high pitched screaming of "Ya, Sha."
Yeah,
every fucking time they did them. They were battered in this match.
Ring of Honor, they were in. They got beat up a fair bit. That fucking senton spot, when
the Hangman one where he's on the ropes.
Absolutely squashed the shit out of him, didn't he?
Yeah, Jesus, that was awesome. But fucking hell, it looked excruciating. I thought the initial injury was real. That's how gullible I was on the cell on the back. Yeah, and it was only when who gets injured on the Bucks? Is it Matt or Nick?
The older one. I think it's Matt.
That fucking helps, doesn't it? They look near enough identical, at least before the. Well, Matt. There we go. I've looked through my notes because I did write it down. Matt is Matt and Yo are the ones that are injured on both members of the team, which means both are basically the story of this match is both teams have an injured member, and they're trying to protect them as such, or trying to put more damage to that person. I thought this was a decent match. I thought it was literally. I've put in my notes. It's the battle of the boy band because it literally is, the crowd's favourites as such.
Yeah, I think
I was quite impressed. I'm shocked the Bucks won. I was on the same fence as yourself, where I thought, it's obvious that Roppongi's going to retain because 7-time champion. It's mental the amount of times. It also means Roppongi 3K have got something to chase. I suppose there's more value in that kind of booking at the moment.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. I think that there's more like character building and like booking wise for Sho and Yo and Roppongi 3K to be chasing the Young Bucks for a couple of events. I think that's probably the reason.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought this was a decent tag team match. The only point of contention, which is if you've listened to Wrestling Observer Radio, is the exact same one that Brotherhood came up with, which I'm sure you're thrilled with. It's the spot where the Young Bucks are both in a submission hold, and one prevents the other from tapping out. It was the bit too cartoony in this match, which didn't need it.
His point is valid to an extent, but then he compares it to MMA. It's like, if that happened in MMA, then the referee would stop it. Yeah, in MMA they would, because
also in MMA they don't tend to climb to the top rope and do top rope maneuvers.
It's a fucking shoot fight. That's why.
I just want you to shoot on Brian Alvarez. That's all I wanted to get. But that was my only point of contention. Yeah, that was my only point of contention. But I'm not a massive Young Bucks fan. I like my tag team wrestling and my wrestling in general to have some degree of realism, I suppose, and I think their cartoonish aspects are not really. At least they don't do it in New Japan. They do it in live shows.
All right, Jim Cornette.
Get me a Wendy's double cheeseburger, motherfucker!
You fucking ugly cunt. Yeah, good match. They won with a. Did they do a pair of sharpshooters? They did, didn't they? They did the Meltzer driver, which led to a sharpshooter, and they got a submission victory.
Yeah, they did the Meltzer driver on Yo. I think Sho was injured at the time he was back. I did like the fact that Matt was still selling his back when they won the 7th.
Title. They're not. People like Cornette think that they disrespect the business. I think they respect the business. They just found a very good, very well worked, and they've worked very hard to get to this position. They found their niche. They found their groove, and they know how, and they make a lot of money, and they have made a name for themselves. And they're like the highest selling shirt in Hot Topic in North America. And I've said so. Before, I've got a load of Bullet Club t-shirts from Hot Topic when I was in Canada a couple months ago, and I brought you back a Kenny the Cleaner t-shirt.
Yes, I know. Yes,
is that all right? That t-shirt, by the way.
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, saves a beautiful piece.
Mates, and they're obviously very talented and great, and yeah, I like this New Japan version a lot more than other versions.
Yeah, of course, and I think it might have been McMahon who came up with this, where wrestling has to be a free ring circus. You need elements of comedy, you need your seriousness, and you need your spot fest and stuff. And the Young Bucks probably don't realise it, but they do atone to that. They are the comedy aspect on a lot of shows. It's not really my thing, but I do respect them, and I thought this was a good opener. So, fair fucks to them. And this, again, I've seen the Young Bucks several times this year through just watching New Japan shows, and I've not seen a bad match with them. So there's that as well. So maybe I just want an excuse to complain about them, but I'm not calling it. Yeah. So thumbs up from me.
Yeah. Right. Next match. We'll kind of just. I mean, these gauntlet matches are really quite.
I didn't write that. I wrote the eliminations, but I didn't write anything else.
Let's just go through this in a very quick way.
The abridged version.
So Chaos, who was Trent Beretta, Tomohiro Ishii, who's amazing, and Toru Yano, who's also amazing. So they defeated the Bullet Club of Fale, Tamatonga, and Tangaloa, the team of Elgin and War Machine, Suzuki Gun, who was Taichi Takahashi Izuka, I think his name is, the one who pretends to be a monster. Yeah, him. And our very own Zack Sabre Jr., with obviously El Desperado, Taka Michinoku, and Kanemaru, because Suzuki Gun always go out in numbers, and Taguchi Japan, who is Juice Robinson, Taguchi, and Makabe. Yeah, so gauntlet match for the 6-man tag championships, which is the most hot-shotted, worst-booked championship in the whole of pro wrestling, if you ask me. I'm just going to run through my notes. The match went 17 minutes, 3 seconds. When Zack Sabre Jr. is in his dickhead heel mode, it's my favourite Zack Sabre Jr. It's fucking brilliant.
I still stand by my point where it is Harry Potter has joined the Death Eaters. It's very strange.
I love it. But he fits in. I think he's brilliant.
He does. It's so fucking weird. It's like he's the corrupted, the good kid who's been corrupted by the evil Suzuki. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to mould this into my own little monster.
I absolutely adore Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's amazing.
He's fantastic.
And I love the fact that he's English. I really do. And I love the fact that he's lefty, liberal, Labour voter.
You're going to say, I love the fact that he's a Labour supporter.
Yeah.
There's only one Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, so this is probably War Machine's last big match in New Japan. They were at New Year's Dash today, I believe. I think they were. But they're off to Next, supposedly. First,
NXT, oh my god. What, they going to
sorry,
the clothes shop,
NXT.
Reece?
NXT, yeah.
The profits have turned up. They're going to go Next. Sell some t-shirts.
First fall, Zack Sabre Jr. got a nice clean sub over. Was it Raymond? What's his name?
Raymond Rowe.
Raymond Rowe. Yep.
Or
So
Ramo.
first fall. So then obviously, Chaos came down, and then Yano got the. I think he got the pin on someone in Suzuki Gun. I can't remember who.
He did. It's right. I'm here. I'm going to show my stupidity. Is it Tai Chi or Daichi?
Taichi.
Right, Taichi. That was a low blow.
The one who does the singer gimmick.
Yes, he got a roll up on him.
Yeah, well, that's what Yano does. Yano is probably one of the greatest comedic wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, sneaky as fuck. I thought it was hilarious.
He takes off the turnbuckle, he low blows people, and he does roll ups. So yeah, he rolled up Taichi. Yep, you're right. He then got the next one because he rolled up Taguchi, which is actually a really good spot because it was when Taguchi was running wild. He was about to do his like kind of funky weapon because his gimmick is that he uses his arse, which is called his funky weapon, to do like kind of like hip attacks, but
hip attack.
Yeah.
But they call it arse attack. They call it hip attack.
Yeah, but he uses his arse, and it's called the funky weapon. So yeah, that was a good spot because he dodged him and then rolled him up and got rid of them.
You forgot he channeled Nakamura as well just before that.
Oh, very, very good actually. I enjoyed that. That's the thing. They don't have any ill will towards Nakamura. They, the same as I don't think he did it against Jay White later in the evening, but whenever Tanahashi goes up to do the high fly flow, he usually does the little hand movements of Nakamura before he does the move.
Yeah, they don't ignore his legacy like the WWE would.
Yeah, so we had then Bullet Club came down for the final four because they're the defending champions. Yano did a bit more of his shtick. I can't help but feel this match was a bit of a waste of Ishii and even Zack Sabre. I would liked it if they were in a bit more prominent roles, but you can't. It's such a big roster and only so many matches you can do.
That was my main criticism of this match because I thought some of the exchanges were far too short, and that's pretty much the two main guys that were the point of contention for this particular match.
Yeah, there was one of the big stories of the last fall was Ishii trying to get Farley up into a vertical suplex.
Yes, I thought it was great.
Very reminiscent, and I implore you to find this match or to watch it on Rev Pro's on-demand service, or I'll send you it on some kind of link. To watch
Edit that.
Ishii vs Keith Lee at the Global Wars show at York Hall in November, I think it was. Yeah. This whole match was built around him trying to get Keith Lee up, and it's a match that even Meltzer says and Alvarez they think it's one of the best matches of the year last year, and it fucking was. It was great, especially in person.
I do like Keith Lee.
Yeah, Keith Lee's brilliant. I do not know for the life of me why he's not signed up to. Well, the size of him and the athleticism of him, I can't believe WWE hasn't stuck him on NXT.
It's like, he's not got the wrestler shape. It's like basically he's similar to Joe.
Yeah,
he's a bit more. He's younger. How young is he? I
don't know. Maybe he's in his 30s, mid to late 30s. He's very charismatic though. So he does get the suplex on Farley, and then I can't remember what Trent Beretta's. Is it the stun gun? Is that
stun gun?
Yeah. Trent Beretta.
He's actually he's. Beretta, I've got to know here. Beretta sells a great stun gun, and the second attempt results in a reversal into a dude buster and the pinfall to win the tag titles.
That's it, yeah. New champions in the most pointless and worthless belts in New Japan, and maybe, top level pro wrestling. And New Year's Dash is the show that's the day immediately the day after New Japan, and it's a show where a lot of storylines for the next few months of New Japan come out and that they start working on, and Chaos have already lost these belts back to Bullet Club, I do believe, so they didn't even hold them for 24 hours. They lost them straight back. Right, moving on. Kota Ibushi, probably in my top 3 favourite pro wrestlers in the world.
Bethnal Green's own Kota Ibushi.
Bethnal Green's own personal fireworks display. Kota Ibushi.
Possible terrorist suspect.
He defeated Cody.
Just
He
Cody.
defeated Cody, who was with Brandy Rhodes, his wife, who is fucking amazing.
Oh my god.
Christ alive. She's lovely. 15 minutes, 8 seconds. Cody looks like the villain in one of those 80s teenage coming-of-age movies where his rich father is going to bulldoze the rec centre to
I've
build
seen
some
that
kind of
tweet.
hotel.
I've seen that tweet. I'm gonna steal some from Twitter as well and say he's obviously channeling David Flair with his new haircut. You can't unsee it now once you've seen it.
Yeah.
Hulk up against my dad.
Someone needs to either challenge him to a ski race or a wrestling match, and Kota Ibushi has. And Kota Ibushi defeated Cody. It was actually quite a good match, I thought. I enjoyed this. Kota Ibushi's so good. He's so smooth. He did that. I really like that spot, where he did the big dive and Brandy kind of got in the way. Brandy pretended to be hurt, so he picked her up to try and help her and got punched in the face by Cody. And then as she's on the floor, Cody bends over her and they both start laughing.
It's a swerve, bro.
Kevin Kelly was like, "She was in on it the whole time." It was really good. Actually, I'm quite like his commentary. I think he does quite.
He's fantastic, Kevin Kelly. I know everyone goes on Don Callis being amazing, but I really like Kevin Kelly.
Brilliant. They're both really good. I think really good team. Yeah.
Isn't it nice to watch an entire wrestling show and not feel utter disdain for the commentary team throughout the entire show? Well, or there's one weak link and it's like you're fucking dragging everyone else down with it. These two are great.
A few moments. You could ignore a few bits and pieces, but I think that when they, as a team, they really try hard to put the wrestlers over and to put New Japan over, and that's what commentating is for. And
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
they are a vehicle for the entire. They're like an element of the entire show to basically put over talent. Whereas now the WWE is pushing not their talent, but their social media, their fucking shows that you're never going to watch on the network and other.
Yeah.
And in Booker's case, just random shit that he's come up with because he's gears in his head started to click. Yeah, he's bored and doesn't watch the show.
Yeah.
People criticise Cody's work, his in-ring work, but I think he's actually quite top-notch. This match had a bit more charisma. Just make it a bit more memorable. I thought Brandy was excellent. If they're going to use her more in New Japan, then that's thumbs up from me because I thought, again, she was excellent. I thought this was a great match. It's Cody's second only defeat in New Japan as well, which is quite a big deal. Singles match, yeah. Don't include tag team matches. I think Callis might have made that point, yeah. Obviously, as you mentioned just before, not New Japan, Ring of Honor champions don't tend to lose at New Japan once they have the world title.
This was a good match. Just a few really good spots I just want to mention. The top rope moonsault that Ibushi did to the outside when he was caught perfectly by Rhodes, but it just landed really well. That was really lovely.
He landed on his fucking feet, if I remember. Yeah. Didn't he? Like a bloody cat.
Also, that crossroads from the apron to the floor. When you watched it when it was kind of live, and you watched it, I thought that basically Ibushi had broken his neck, and it was
just the twist of it. Yeah, twist and land.
When you saw the replay, it was so safe. It wasn't safe because he did sort of land on his head, but it was done the way he rolled it. It was
he does like a leaping log roll from the but as you say, it looks horrible in action, but then you watch it in the replay, you're like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah, Cody did a Hurricanrana, which is quite new for him.
Yeah, it was all right.
Ibushi threw him into the turnbuckle in a spot, which isn't the spot that I particularly enjoy because it just looks like it's going to break someone's neck one day.
Yeah, waiting for that inevitable horror story to happen, but until then, you'll keep doing it.
Ibushi hit his kind of sit out last ride power bomb, got a 2 count. That just before that power bomb, there was a really good striking and slap spot, which was really fun. And eventually it all worked towards Kota Ibushi hitting his big knee, and then he hit that lovely Phoenix Splash for the 1, 2, 3. Really good match. I'm really hoping that the fact that they give Ibushi a victory at Wrestle Kingdom means that he is going to be around a bit more long term at New Japan, because I honestly believe that he is someone you could put the world title on. I just do. I just think he could. I think he's so over. They love him. I remember at the G1 when he was announced to be in the G1, and the crowd was so, like, for a Japanese crowd to pop as loud as they did just for a G1 announcement for him, it just showed you how much they love him. I just hope that he's around, because obviously the Omega Ibushi long-term story is there to be told as well, and that's Ibushi Omega. I mean, if you just think about that, think about what both are capable of and what both are willing to put themselves through for the sake of a great wrestling match. That could be fucking special. But that's I'm a dreamer, so we'll see.
Or Tanahashi, unless this is where you say, well, the following day at New Year's
Not
Rush.
yet.
Did
Nothing.
they?
He was there. I mean, Kota Ibushi was involved in a story element, but I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, yeah, but thumbs up for me for this match.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Next match was the IWGP Tag Team Championships. The Killer Elite Squad of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer, who are fucking both huge monsters.
Jesus Christ.
They are huge. They went up against the, much smaller, but very good wrestlers, Evil and Sonada of Los Ingobernables y Japón. And
glad you pronounced that. They did, yes.
LIJ won this in 14 minutes 14, which was interesting because pretty much 80% of this match they're getting squashed. Sonada especially gets the shit kicked out of him.
I was going to say this match had I know it's a bit of maybe of a stretch, but it did have some similarities to the opening tag team match where one team is basically dominating throughout, but whereas the Bucks actually did win that match, this time the champions actually, lost it.
Yeah, I mean, I think an exercise in keeping Killer Elite Squad strong in defeat. But I thought this was a decent match. I like the fact that Davey Boy Smith Jr. is channeling his 1999 Davey Boy Smith look of his jeans and quite bad tan, I'll say, but doesn't matter.
What was up with his face? He had a jaw protector as well, didn't he? Which made him look.
Yeah.
Arch looks just like what a bastard, spitting on the the audience
fan. Fill a bottle of water and spit it on the other fans. Yeah.
Evil Triple H goes mad with the water bottle. I bet they love it out there though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this was okay. This was pretty good. Sonada got. I mean, it was mostly Sonada getting beat up for a lot of it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so Killer Elite Squad were kind of booked like monstery, a lot of power moves, and then the end kind of. There was this. What was it? I think Evil came in and saved Sonada from one of their big power tag moves.
I've got it here. There's a mad exchange which sees Evil now. Everything is evil. Makes me laugh. That's the name of that move on Archer. Then a magic killer on Smith for a 2. Then Sonada nails a standing moonsault for the 3.
It was from the top rope, the moonsault.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean standing moonsault. I mean these.
Because it's nod, isn't it, to the Great Muta?
I was literally going to say I'm sure that move actually has a proper name, but I've just put standing moonsault.
Yeah, new champions, and Killer Elite Squad still look pretty strong. So all round, I think. Yeah, it was good.
I thought Evil wasn't in the match at all, but I thought they were going to keep it on while Sonada was the face in peril. Smith and Archer looked phenomenal, and it makes you wonder why the WWE haven't picked these two up. But then you think, well, they did have Smith a decade ago, and that was bad.
Yeah.
Archer, he's good. Again, shocked. Just why he's never been picked up, because he's big and he's tough. You'd think he'd be he'd tick all the boxes.
I think he's had a couple of bad injuries in the last year or so I don't think that helps him. But I think it was.
How old is he as well? Is he in his 30s? I take it, or
I assume so. I don't actually know.
Just think, because these wrestlers, I mean, obviously that Japanese style as well, it shortens your career by at least 10 years.
You say that, but Nagata was still wrestling. Tenzan, Kojima.
Goto, Suzuki.
I mean, Suzuki's dipped in and out of wrestling, and obviously has wrestled in different places to New Japan. But Suzuki's 50 years old this year or next year, so it does. And there is the point that Meltzer makes in that, and it is down to they do a lot more dates, but WWE get a lot more long-term and short-term injuries than New Japan do. So
that's the point. Yeah, absolutely right.
Right, yeah. So we move on, and the aforementioned Minoru Suzuki defended. He didn't defend, but he put his never openweight championship on the line against Hiroko Goto. So obviously, before this match started, you knew they were going to beat the piss out of each other.
Jesus.
This was a hair vs hair, no seconds death match. Goto defeated Suzuki for the never openweight title. 18 minutes 4 seconds. I really enjoyed this match.
I was literally going to say, at this point, this was the match of the night thus far.
Yeah,
it was the first note I put was two old monsters are going to go kill each other now.
I think Goto's been around for years, but I don't think he's that old. Obviously, he's.
I was going to say, I think he's got. Now. I was going to say, I think he's got TV age. He's been around for ages, but he's not that old.
He's the same age as Shibata, because they were young lions at the same time, and they went to school together as well.
Fucking hell. Well, after the slap fest, Suzuki decided to pull on him. I think his face has aged by about 25 years.
He did have visible swelling, didn't he? He did actually.
Yes, he did. His cheeks were... Yeah, but that's slaps. I mean, I thought, he must be holding back. But then about 5 minutes afterwards, you could tell his face was puffing up. Plus, Suzuki...
Yeah.
Suzuki is wrestling's final villain. He is literally the fucking main villain who just laughs in the face of your pathetic attempts to try and stop him.
Do you love his M. Bison laugh?
Oh my god. It's the most terrifying thing ever. He is wrestling's final villain. He is the thing that you have to...
He is. He's wrestling's final villain with one of the most face entrances ever.
Oh god, it's in my...
Kaze ni Nair is easily my favourite wrestling theme. His entrance is easily my favourite entrance. I just love it. I adore it.
Oh, I've said this before in our fucking chats, but put that in Dragon Ball. Put it where Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue as like an insert zone, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so inspirational!" When really it's the theme song of a fucking madman in Japanese wrestling.
Oh, it's just... Is it Be the Wind, Kaze ni Nair? Is that what it means?
Kaze means wind, so I imagine that's not far off.
It's just so good, and he like smiles as he comes out, and he kind of tells the fans to. And then when he goes, the big massive pop of Kaze ni Nair. Obviously, I got to do it a couple of times when he was over in November.
I've seen your video. He seems very pleased that the Brits knew at least that one.
When he went to What Culture, he got a bit of a lukewarm reception because basically it was just full of YouTube casuals, wasn't it? And there wasn't... Right, the match. So yeah, they beat the piss out of each other. There was a very early doctor stoppage spot, which...
Yeah, what the fuck was this about?
Kind of, Alvarez was sort of right when he mentioned it, but again, ignoring the fact that it's fucking pro wrestling, therefore it's not real life. A doctor stoppage probably should have meant that it was the end of the match, but alas, it wasn't.
He hung him from the fucking rope. He hung him.
Yeah. So wonderfully stiff shots in this match. Suzuki Gun did try to interfere at one point. There was a fucking beautiful drop kick from Suzuki. He's 49 years old, and he did this really beautiful, high, impactful, just so athletic drop kick.
I know, it's so deceptive as well. Like, you wouldn't expect him to be able to do it, but he's like fucking just nails it. It's like, mwah, well done.
Yeah, there was a really the spot that busted Goto's mouth up was when Suzuki basically just slapped and palm strike the shit out of him.
I've literally put here, Suzuki slapped 7 shades out of Goto. Jesus Christ, stop, he's already dead. He's already dead.
Yeah, Goto took a lot of punishment in this match, and obviously he came back in waves and got some offense in as well. And what is
his finisher's acronym? Is it DTR?
It's GTR, Goto Revolution.
I'm deaf. GTR, there we go.
GTR, yeah, because he does a front we'll get to the finish. But before that, there was a couple of headbutt spots. One of them was you could hear it. The other one was very
God.
safe. So,
ban that shit. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, one story told was that Suzuki had him beat when he had him in the sleeper, but he arrogantly kept trying to do the Gotch power driver, and that always
Yeah.
failed. And yep, those headbutt spots were horrible. So the match kind of turned when Goto hit that avalanche top rope Yushigarashi, which is a
Yes.
really, really good move. There was another striking exchange, which is where Goto hit his very safe headbutt spot, and that led to the front and back. He did the front version, and then he did the back GTR Goto Revolution for the victory and the openweight championship, and the and Suzuki's hair, which I did like that. I enjoyed the fact that Suzuki Gun tried to get him out of there, and he had enough honor, even in defeat, and even though he's a villain, he had enough honor to tell him to fuck off. He went back to the ring. I love the petulance of "fuck your chair, I'll use my own
Yeah,
chair."
I know. I thought he was going to whack
He,
him. I thought he was going to
he
knock
did
him
a
out and then sit down and show
he,
me. Right?
yeah, he chair shotted a chair and then took the clippers off him, took off his own ponytail, slammed it on the chair, and then went off the ring. And it was good. It was cool.
It's like, fuck you, I'll do your little stipulation. And it's like,
Yeah.
it does wonders for his character because it basically proves that despite the fact Goto's got this massive victory and has won his title from him, Suzuki has managed to turn this embarrassing thing, where losing his hair, and turn it into a
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah, I'll do it on my terms.
Yeah, I'll do it on my terms. Yeah, exactly. But fair fucks to him. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic match.
I will, and I'll just say actually that these are two guys that I think before their careers are ending, and obviously Suzuki's career is going to end a lot sooner than Goto's.
Yeah.
I'd like it if they both had a run with that belt.
I'd fucking love Suzuki to win the world title.
I mean, Suzuki wins the IWGP. That means that he's won all of the major heavyweight titles in Japan. Because he's already won the Triple Crown. He's already won the Noah, the GHC belt. He came close. He had a really good match with Okada last year, where he could have won. There's moments when he nearly tapped out Okada. Obviously, kayfabe, but whatever.
I think the way Okada's been booked, he won't win. The Suzuki won't be beating Okada anytime soon, unless it's like a 6-on-1 handicap match with all of Suzuki Gun.
Yeah, no, that was a good match. I enjoyed that.
Yes, very much. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so that was the best match of the card so far, and that was followed by the best match of the card so far.
It's gonna be a recurring
four-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay, Marty Scurll, the defending champion, Hiromu Takahashi with Daryl, who is just delightful.
He's in a mask today for some reason.
Yeah. And Kushida. Four-way, which is quite a rare occurrence in New Japan, and Will Ospreay managed to get his title back that he lost to Marty Scurll.
I knew from a fact when all four of these guys came out, I was like, you know what? It's going to be chaos to cover this. I'm just going to watch this, but I've ended up literally putting 3 notes, which was, again, I think this match is going to be a fucking pain to cover, so I'll keep this brief. And it's like then 25 minutes later, or however long it is, in what can be best described as a wonderful fatal four-way, Ospreay beats Scurll to win the title. Or Scurll, I should say, not Scurll. I've done it twice now. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Marty Scurll.
He's a horrible Scurll from the Marvel Universe. Nerdy reference. Match had tons of impressive spots. Scurll was able to be the villain. Ospreay looked visibly injured throughout with his back.
Cupping therapy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's just medicinal love bites. That's all it is.
I think they called it vampire therapy on commentary, but your one sounds more pathetic.
The actual term is cupping therapy, I believe.
Yeah, it's like pellets, I suppose. Putting rocks.
You get they get like glass tubes, and then you do a suction. And
to bring the blood to the surface and hope.
Yeah, I think the last 3 or 4 times I've seen him live, he's always had it really, really, really visibly on his back. But yeah,
he's so young as well to have that sort of fucking injury and not take a break.
He's mid-20s.
I want to say he's 23.
Well,
if you're listening, clarify your age to us. We can't be bothered.
He works like an app. He works. He's just working all the time. He's such a. I fucking love him. I think he's great.
I know. Will.
Well, I think
Although Skull, fucking hell, man, this man.
You got to love
From
his DIY wings as well.
his Plague Doctor outfit where he comes down like
Have
a
you
fucking. Again, we're going back to anime villains.
if you look at Cody Rhodes' Twitter, he actually put a picture up of Marty Scurll sitting in the corner of a room in the Tokyo Dome assembling his wings. It's really quite cute.
But people will remember that, won't they? They'll be like, "Oh shit! Do you remember when Skull comes from the fucking floor and then he opens his wingspan and he looks like something out of fucking Bloodborne. It's
Mm.
great." But this match, there's so much to go through. There's the fucking bit
Uh,
on the lighting rig,
I've
which
got
was
I've
great.
got some spots. We
Go
can
on,
go
let's
through
go
some of
for
the
it.
spots. I mean,
Let's
there's a lot of them.
reminisce.
Yeah, so my first favourite part of the match was when Don Callis said the word numpty, because that's a word that Marty Scurll uses a lot. He's like, look at them, look at Marty in there with a bunch of numpties. That was very interesting and funny.
It's like when Taz doesn't know what wanker is. What is that? Some
Yeah,
kind of goof? It's a bird?
Marty calling his moves before he does them was so loud that you could hear them back in England.
Yeah, but it's part of
Very
his
good
character.
though.
It's like, I'm going to
Yeah.
hit an arm drag. And like, okay, he's hit an arm drag. There needs to be a Botchamania spot where it's like Marty calls his moves before he does his move.
Yeah. Um, Osprey hit an absolute beauty of a moonsault from the lighting rig. He landed, I don't know if he landed badly on his ankles, but it couldn't have been great on his ankles. He then just looked at the camera and goofily smiled and winked at the camera. That was quite cute and quite cool. Yeah, it was really smooth, this match. Like, all of the moves and transitions was really nice. Really good spot when Marty had Will in the chicken wing and Kushida had Hiromu in the hoverboard, he calls it?
Yeah, because
The
it's all Back to the Future
Kimura, yep.
games.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good spot, which ended when Marty just got rid of, took the chicken wing off of Will and just did a really nice stiff super kick to Kushida's head to break that. That was quite cool.
Did you
The,
feel like, sorry, I was going to say, did you feel like Takahashi was a bit of a, I'm going to use your phrase here, passenger?
I think the two characters, characters. What am I talking about? I think Takahashi had had a brief spell where he was the passenger. You know, like the whole tight when he got duct taped
Taped up, yeah.
yeah. And then I think Kushida had a moment of it as well, or a phase. I think those two. I think the match was built more around Will and Marty, and I think there's a reason for that, which is coming up after Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, I agree. I think there were moments there. I liked the whole taping to the rail spot because obviously it was quite funny, and you had Marty visibly saying, "Ah, you loser! Oh, you, what are you
Shut your
doing there,
face! Shut
Hiromu?
your face!
Shut your face! Shut up! Shut up!" Yeah, yeah. No, the pace did pick up a bit. There was those really good clothesline spots. Kushida then got flung into the turnbuckle, which was really good. The Oz cutter into a chicken wing that happens in every single Marty Scurll Will Ospreay match ever is always good. It always looks great. You see it
700
so
times.
much, but I mean, their Best of the Super Juniors match when Marty made his debut. That's how he won. Oz cutter, he caught him in the chicken wing, tapped him out. And I think when they did they tore the match a couple of years ago when they both made their name. They kind of toured it around the world, America, Europe. This great match that I think it originated in Rev Pro. That could be wrong, and I think that's probably the finish to that match. So that spot is just second nature to them. Yeah. So we got, what do we have after that? You had the cheeky Nando spot, which was again hearing Kevin Kelly say cheeky
Chicken
Nando's
Nando's kick!
Yeah,
Chicken
that was
Nando's kick!
odd.
I bet that
Osprey.
confuses the shit out of people as to what that is.
Osprey screams quite a lot in his matches. It's like a
I thought it was
child,
doing
isn't it?
right.
You feel
I
sorry
thought
for
it
him.
was.
Oh no, yeah.
Mate, I've grown up on Dragon Ball though, so I'm used to the ideas of people screaming their heads off when they're having rests or fights. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's powering up.
Marty hit an Oz cutter on Will Ospreay. That was quite fun. That's when Hiromu got taped to the thing. They did a few finger break spots. I really liked it that
The
He did
click.
the finger break spot. Then when it happened to Skull, he went and got the tape and taped his fingers
Oh
back
yeah,
together.
take
I thought
his
that was
fingers
quite
back
funny.
together. Smart.
There was a really nice spot from Kushida on Ospreay from the top rope where he did the arm breaker. You know that when he like did the transition
Oh,
in midair and
cross
yeah,
arm
and then
breaker.
he,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it, cross arm breaker, and then he turned it into a triangle,
that's it.
which was I think Ospreay then picked him up, got a big pop for doing like a kind of buckle bomb to get out of
I was
that.
going to say it's a gut wrench, one armed bomb. They do it. They've done it in.
That's the one.
Who the fuck did it in UFC? He got triangle choked and picked him up and slammed him. It's the exact same fucking thing, obviously, but it's a shoot.
Was
I
it
want to say
not?
it was.
Was it not Quentin Rampage Jackson in
Yes, I
Pride?
was literally going to say. I think it's
Yeah,
Rampage Jackson. Sorry if it wasn't UFC, was it? It was
it was in
Pride.
Pride. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
that's about
main
10 years old
event.
that spot, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one.
Marty playing the villain so perfectly as he does, then did a powder spot, Justice Powder or whatever it's called.
Freedom
Um,
powder.
Freedom Powder, thank you. He's really living his gimmick, and you can tell he loves it. That was a
Picked up about
fantastic,
£4 of it as well. It was like,
yeah.
weird.
Kushida was the recipient of that. Hiromu hit a beautiful German suplex on Will, I believe. It was really nice. There was a when he did the sunset. So Hiromu then run wild after getting off the fence. He did a sunset bomb to the outside, and then he did one to. So he did one to Ospreay. Then he
Yep.
went to the other side of the ring and did one to Marty. Really
Marty
good.
got he got stuck in the. Oh no, sorry. Ospreay got stuck on the barricade, didn't he? And then
Yeah,
when he did do Skull, his head got caught in the barricade. And I
yeah,
don't know if that was an accident or if he did that on purpose to sell how bad it was.
yeah.
It was good
He did a time bomb on Marty, kicked out. Then Ospreay and Skull did some teaming up to take out Kushida and Takahashi. Then there was a drop kick from Takahashi, which was beautiful. Kind of like a sort of Death Valley driver on the apron from Takahashi on Marty. Another
Yeah,
sunset bomb on
I think
her own. So Kushida did a sunset bomb to Takahashi to the outside.
Sorry, I was going to say
Os-
the Death Valley driver. I thought it was because it's the same move as Cena, isn't it? It's his attitude adjustment. Because the Death
well,
Valley
yeah,
driver is where you do a
if you
fisherman's carry,
drive
then
them, drive
yeah, but you
them.
drive their head into it. But he kind of like flipped him over, which is just it's a fireman's carry
It was
suplex.
more of a it was more of that, but they called it a DVD for some reason.
Yeah, don't know why.
Ospreay did his signature shooting star press from the top of the top turnbuckle to the outside.
Oh, that was
He
good.
then did an inverted 450 for a near fall. Christ, I mean, if anyone's listening to this and they haven't seen the match, then Christ, they must be fucking on YouTube right away because the amount of spots we fucking did.
Yeah,
Was
Jesus
gold.
Christ.
It's not even over. Another time bomb, and then Skull pulled the ref out. Skull then ran wild with his umbrella and really waffled a few people. And then we got into the finish. So Ospreay hits a Spanish fly, hits the Oz cutter, 1, 2, 3. Ospreay wins the belt, and it was just a fucking amazing match. And I thought Skull was amazing. I thought just his willingness to be this cartoon villain, and you know what the thing is, he does it so well that it is cartoony, but it's not. It's just like it's just
Oh no,
fun.
he is
Yeah,
cartoony, but he backs similar to Suzuki. He actually backs it up. He will break fingers. He'll do fucking ridiculous things like taping people up and other bits and pieces. But he is very captivating and very entertaining. That's what you want in these kind of matches.
yeah,
You can't just have four nobodies just wrestle each other. Everyone in this match
yeah.
did have a role. I mean, my only criticism again was it felt like Takahashi was not really doing much, but he was taped up for a lot of the second half of this match. But
Yeah,
this match was fan-fucking-tastic. Absolutely fantastic.
yeah, and I think we should move on.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that I hope that this means now that Ospreay can have that belt for quite a while and make a good few couple of defenses.
I think as long as he can stay in a reasonably decent condition, then yes. But I feel so sorry for him at times with his ongoing injuries. But he can't rest because where is he going to get his money from?
Oh, I think he earns good money. I mean, he travels a lot and he does that. But yeah, he's a good guy. He deserves whatever he gets.
Yeah, exactly. And he's similar to Bate. He's too young. It gets on my fucking nerves that these guys are that young and they're making this much of an impact in the wrestling scene.
British though, young Brits, we're taking over. It's absolutely a joy to see.
We're taking over. BWO version, whatever, 3.
Yeah. We're taking over. Right, yeah, so next match, Hiroshi Tanahashi defends his IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Thank you. Against Jay White, Switchblade, re-debuting Jay White, former young lion, young New Zealander. He's only 24, and he's been a young lion, and now he's on the main. He's on the main card. He's first from the top. That's a pretty big deal. Anyway, against the ace, the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is so fucking injured. He's like a third of the man that you used to just lighting up the Tokyo Dome. Anyway, yeah, so Tanahashi did win. 1943, this went. I don't really want to dwell too much on this match, just because I didn't think it was terrible, but I also didn't think it was that great. I think Tanahashi, you can see, is visibly injured and needs a rest. The fact that he won this match tells you that might not happen just yet. But I think this match. I was least interested in terms of the big matches. This was the one I had least interest in. Although I'm a big fan of Jay White, I've seen him live a few times and he's very good. And Tanahashi's Tanahashi, so John Cena of New Japan Wrestling. To anyone who doesn't,
that's a bit fucking. It's a bit harsh. Cena was despised by.
I don't mean that in terms of that. I mean that in terms of like your go-to big star.
He's the business. He's the ace.
This was good. It was a good match. It was okay. I just think Tanahashi needs to rest up and get rid of his injuries, because I think that kind of that didn't help this match. What do you think of this match?
I didn't think it was very good at all. I thought it was a slow affair. I thought White was kind of in over his head in this position.
Yeah.
He seems to have come out of fucking nowhere in terms of New Japan booking. He seems to have attacked Tanahashi twice.
Exactly.
So but we didn't. Was he at the G1? I don't think so. Was he? Or
no. So so he's called Jay White, but he's Switchblade, right? That's his character.
Yeah.
And Switchblade has been teased in vignettes on New Japan shows for ages. Not ages, but a few months. At one point, people thought it was Sami Callihan. But yeah, it's Jay White. And he showed up, I think he showed up at King of Pro Wrestling.
This was unfortunately the designated piss break, which was just unfortunate. Compared to the previous match as well, it felt so much slower. And I can get the point of this match. It was to sell that Tanahashi's injured and he's got to work smart. He's got to do the dragon screws. He's got to hit the sling blade so many times, because obviously White is fucking tall and he's young and he's dangerous. But it just felt really disappointing. And I love Tanahashi. I do think he's the reason that fucking company has a standing where it is at the moment, because he basically dragged out the fucking Dark Age.
He was the last support and he kick-started them. Yeah, you're completely right.
Exactly. Yeah. But this match just disappointing, which is a shame. I agree. I don't agree with the sentiment that people say, "Oh, this was good." I wouldn't go that far, but that's a shame, to be blunt.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yes, we can. Dream match time.
Yeah, so the first of a double main event, if you're talking to Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega against Chris Jericho makes his return to New Japan Wrestling since a very long time. This was a no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. And Omega won. Omega beat Chris Jericho, which I don't think was a surprise. I was fully expecting Omega to win this. It went 34-36, and it was probably the match of the card. Probably one of the most fun matches I've seen in a very long time, in terms of just fun. It was so fun, and yeah, it was great. I have two questions to ask you before we get into it, Harry.
Yeah, cool. Yep.
So, was Jericho's entrance song, was that a Fozzy song?
That's Judas by Fozzy.
Okay, so
yeah, it's the song that's been playing all throughout fucking Jericho's. I keep fucking finding it on YouTube as adverts. So
is it his? Is that? I mean, I'm not. I know Fozzy aren't exactly a huge band, but is Judas their biggest hit?
It's their recent. It's their lead single from their latest album.
All right.
Not listening to it. Yeah, but I have heard Judas. It's all right. It's not great.
My second question is, what the fuck is Omega dressed as?
I've got things here. So he comes out with a it's basically like a fox or wolf helmet and a gun.
It's an Anubis, isn't it?
I thought it was Anubis, but now if you've got time to go on Google, look up Lucario from fucking Pokemon. And I was like, oh my god, he's that fucking thing from Smash Brothers. He's a blue and black fox but he doesn't have a gun. So I don't know what the gun's about. I think the gun's just cool because he's the Terminator, he's the cleaner and all that shit.
I've got a feeling that he's definitely a character.
I think he's Lucario.
Mm.
If you fucking Google it, you'll be like, oh. And because he's a big fucking gamer like all of us, because he's a lad, I reckon it's that.
Maybe. Let's have a look.
You see,
it's like an. It's like apparently he's dressed as Osiris.
What? I don't know. One of us is a bad nerd. So what? If I look up who
might be
Kenny Omega dressed,
it might be a Destiny character.
Who the fuck? As at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Let's find that. What does Google want?
Kenny Omega just walked to the ring of his match against Jericho dressed as Osiris. He even brought a vigilant wing. I guess this makes the Young Bucks Sagira. I think it's a Destiny thing.
Yeah, it's a Destiny thing. That's the first thing that's coming.
Right, well, there you go. Well, anyway,
I don't play Destiny. I thought he looked like Lucario. I'm a Pokemon nerd.
But I wanted to get that up. Right, yeah, so this match was great. Did you not find it a bit odd that they kept putting over the fact that Jericho was in? They actually used the term undisputed world champion, and the thing is that it's if you say undisputed, if you claim that Jericho was an undisputed world champion, do you not kind of accidentally, inadvertently talk down your own world championship? Because if it's undisputed, then your own championship doesn't dispute that.
Was that in the actual promo package, or is that Kelly and Callis?
No, Kelly and Callis kept talking about. They actually kept talking about how he defeated The Rock and Austin in one night. There was also a spot. Where is it? I've got it here. There was actually a spot when Callis says Jericho has defeated CM Punk, Edge, and he defeated Austin and The Rock in one night, and he beat Shawn Michaels. He's a legend. Like, I was like, obviously
Callis
is actually, yeah.
But I think that's more the case of the WWF lexicon or WWE lexicon entering fucking the English commentary, because the only way we'd have to get confirmation is if the Japanese commentary said he was the undisputed champion as well, in which case, yes, it is putting their own company down.
You know,
I think it's a case of it's. Sorry, go on.
Don Callis is the reason this match happened.
Yeah, that I do know.
Omega, Jericho, and Callis are all from Winnipeg.
Yeah,
they all know each other. They're in like a circle of friends, and I think it was Callis who said to Jericho, I can't remember what it was. I don't know which way around it was, but basically Callis was the middleman, and it was kind of like, so and so wants a match. What do you reckon? And it was like, and one thing I've learned about Jericho in the last few months, and especially this show, is, fuck me, he's just, I just didn't realize how astute he was and how knowledgeable and how clever he is with the crowd and stuff, and like this whole thing. I think I should have known because of the different characters he's played as Chris Jericho in the past in WWE. You know, like he's, the feud with Michaels and the feud with Punk.
Yeah.
His original, the original goofy.
Yeah, Ayatollah of Rock and Roller. Then he's the chicken shit. Yeah. Then he comes back in 2007, and he's like, yeah. And then he does the
idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he does the silent pissed off guy, which is a take on that fucking movie with Thingy Bob. That's very helpful, isn't it? It's not No Country
Drive.
for Old Men. No, not Drive. I can't remember the actor's name. He goes into a corner shop or something and threatens a bloke, but he doesn't actually threaten him.
You're talking about the guy,
oh my,
the villain, the Spanish guy from No Country for Old Men.
Yes, that's it. I was going to say, is it? No, it's No Country for Old Men. I was going to say that was what that character was based upon. But as you say, Jericho is a master of reinventing himself. It's not like I guess the only comparison I can really make it to is Undertaker, where he'll go through major career changes. But Jericho effectively looks very similar.
I was very very impressed with him in this match.
Yeah, he's just his newest persona is literally he's a heel who, similar to going back to Suzuki, he's a heel, he's a villain, but he's not doing shit to be cool. He's doing it because he's just a bit of a bastard.
Yeah. Also, the whole point of his whole persona in New Japan is I'm the best in the world and I'm here to prove it. And I just like that. I think it's really good.
It's fucking simple. It's actually genius.
I don't know if going by spot is worthwhile for this match because that will take us forever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick out a few select spots that I loved. I'll be honest, I loved the fact that the Young Bucks were fucked off. I didn't want them hanging around and fucking around for this match. I was really glad that they went away.
Yeah.
No offense to them or anything. It's not a dig. I just thought let these two, the whole build has been these two fuck off and let these two do their thing.
Yes, exactly.
Hockey fight to start was a very Canadian thing to do, and I think they know full well that.
It's heated as well. You wouldn't expect that they can't do fucking like chin locks and fucking arm drags and stuff. It's literally heated rivalry. So the right step was to start off with a brawl.
Number 3, I believe, on the 1001 moves of Jericho was arm drag. And number 2 was arm bar.
Yep.
Number 3, arm drag. Anyway, the spot went early on when he had him in the Walls of Jericho and Red Shoes started counting him. And he's just going, it's no DQ, you moron.
God.
That was good. The fucking spot when he went through the table after like 5 minutes into the match and Don Callis completely dropped.
Oh, God,
everyone was supposed to catch him. Yeah.
No, but everyone's equipment gets fucked. So Kelly's like, "Can you hear me? Gone."
That actually led to Jericho attacking Red Shoes and then attacking Red Shoes' son.
What a bastard! I think it took the crowd by surprise because it was like, "Oh, we know Jericho's can be a bit of a prick, but for previous versions of his character have been a bit of a chicken shit." But here he was like, "Nah, I'm going to beat up the ref, then I'm going to beat up the ref's kid just because of the because it's funny."
Yeah. Omega's double foot stomp on the table from the lighting rig was quite good. Yeah. There was a count out at some point, but it was no DQ, so that was a bit weird. Yeah, there was a springboard that Omega went for, and then Jericho popped up and did a drop kick to Omega's knee, which looked fucking brutal.
It looked like he fucking actually full pelted him. I don't know if the knee brace is going to stop it from getting full impact.
Extended him, yeah.
You could see the shake on the leg where he vibrated it. It looked fucking bad.
I loved the bit when they were on the outside and they were by the Japanese announce table and Jericho's like going to, "You see that, Chono? You see that, huh?" I love that. That was brilliant. And Chono's just sitting there, no selling it, laughing. That was amazing. Jericho set that table up, so in a very Western way, he was the one who went through it eventually.
Yes, he went to wrestling's logic. Yeah.
And one thing that was just beautiful. How good was his lion salt? I think he did 1 or 2 lion salts in this match, and both of them were picture perfect.
No, absolutely. He's been doing it for decades now. Though it'd be more shocking if he got it wrong.
I'm not saying it as I'm surprised he's ability. Actually, you know what? I will say it. I was surprised that he was able and that he did put on a match of this caliber. I thought he was fucking amazing.
I think he was allowed to be let loose. I think this was one where he was I can... Because this match was basically a nice conglomerate of Omega's, crisp, picture-perfect technical prowess, but Jericho also brought the American wrestling tropes of let's have some weapons, let's do some fucking razzmatazz with some weapon spots and make it funny. And that they work together. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's like, oh my god, this is absolutely fantastic. This match is just wonderful.
One thing I'll say is that it got to a point where you watched the match, you could visibly see that Jericho was loving every minute of this experience.
He couldn't.
It was like
oh my god, this is so much better than I thought it would.
He was loving it. It was so infectious as well. He did that thing, that one of my favourite Jericho spots from his WCW days. You know, when he'd have someone on the ground and he used to do the pin where he put their foot on their chest. And
and they did a flex. Yeah!
I used to do that on the N64 NWO WCW Revenge.
It was a submission hold, wasn't it, technically, on the fucking...
she got like a break because it immediately did it, or it was a pin, I can't remember. But it was just... There was one thing I was interested in is what would the V trigger on Jericho be like? Because like you said earlier, it was he wasn't restricted in styles. Obviously, he was doing hard moves, and they were kind of stiff in many things. But I did wonder, how would Jericho take a V trigger? Because V triggers look. I know obviously wrestling's a work, and I'm assuming that a V trigger in reality isn't as painful as it looks.
No, there's a lot of there's fire slapping. Don't worry.
I know, but sometimes you watch V triggers and you know for a fact that he's just kneed them in the face. Obviously, you're right. I think it's more of a chest thing, but he took like 5 or 6 V triggers, like full pelt, and I was just like, fuck, Jericho is there, and he's taking this so serious that there's no like kind of take it easy on me kind of approach. I was just so impressed.
You have to remember, Jericho, he's been in the ring with Benoit, he's been in the ring with Malenko, he's been in Japan himself, so he's probably been conditioned to deal with stiff matches. ECW, exactly. This is not new to him. This is just, it's a revisit of old habits. And he probably knows deep down that, the more he gets dished out, the more he can dish out. And then that makes the match more heat because it gives it there's an element of reality to it.
Yeah. We had the spray bottle, the cold spray. I did like the fact that Omega sprayed his balls and did like the funny face. That
makes me laugh because it's like I critique the fucking Young Bucks for doing the little comedy spot where they're like, no, don't quit, no, we'll make it into a cartoon, and yet Omega's like been in like a 15-minute battle for his life against Jericho and decides to spray his bollocks with like the cold cream or cold spray, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. 10 on 10. What a hypocrite.
We then had what I can only say is the most obvious handing over of a blade and then blading spot since Steve Austin in the late 90s. He used to be very obvious with his blading.
No, having to pick it up. It's like,
Jericho bladed. You actually saw the bit when the camera picked up the camera picked up Red Shoes dropping the blade, because you know that they did the spot 3 times when he pushes him into the chair. That's because on the first time he was supposed to blade, and Red Shoes had dropped the blade, and then the second time it happened, Jericho did it without thinking Red Shoes had given him the blade. He hadn't, so they had to do it a third time. And before the third time, you visibly saw him hand him the blade. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
That'll be on
So Omega got colour. Again, quite a Western thing. Only blood you really get in Japan is hard way. Jericho played to the crowd. There was a lot of good kicks. Really nice counter to a One-Wing Angel when he put him in the Walls of Jericho. There was one spot when he managed to get him into the Lion Tamer, which is an obviously much better move, or much better visibly, or aesthetically. He did do that once. That was cool. I liked there was a great spot when Jericho was on the apron and Omega was down, and he started taking a piss out of all the girls that shout, "Kenny!"
Yeah, I know. Kenny!
I loved it.
Kenny!
They're the same girls that go, Naito!
He obviously listens to our he listened to our podcast and was like, you know what, these boys are right. There are too many girls screaming for Kenny Kun. I'm going to show them up.
Omega hit a V trigger that put Jericho through a table. That was quite a nice spot. The fucking table broke, so Japanese tables they break.
I'm hearing the fucking laughter in the background because of Matthew going like, it's gonna fucking he'll bounce off it or something, but he broke it and it was fine. I was gonna say as well, this was when Omega was mounting one of his comebacks. This was afterwards. Where he does, so this is where he does the knee trigger spots and the knees, and then he does a double underhook pile driver, which looked fucking.
Yeah, that's a great move.
Never see that in the WWE. It's like any chance of breaking a neck, it's like scrap that shit. Chairs,
yeah,
the fucking chairs in this match, they're a bit shit, aren't they?
They're real chairs. That's why.
I know. Like Jericho was whacking him over the back, and like the seat was missing. It was like he's actually hitting him with just the framing of it.
The frame, yeah. There were some huge V triggers. He did hit a one wing angel, but Jericho got to the rope, very similar to, actually quite similar to the spot with Owens. You know when they did the one finger on the rope, but obviously he held the rope, and very similar to when Okada,
Okada.
The Minion one, yeah.
But that's why with Jericho quite strong though, because that fucking finisher has been protected better than it's almost on par with the F5 at this point.
Yeah. And right, we're coming towards the finish. There was a attempted code breaker which failed. He hit a code breaker after a lot of knees from Omega, near fall with that code breaker.
He took ages to get that
line. Yeah. So the finish came when. So Jericho goes to do a lion salt. Kenny jumps up, picks up a chair, chucks it at Jericho. Goes up, gets him on his shoulders, very, very craftily kicks the chair into the middle of the ring.
Oh, he did. I didn't even notice that. I thought, fuck, that was great aim. Not realising he probably had to rearrange the chair so he doesn't, get it in position.
And then one wing angel, a beautiful one wing angel actually, on the chair. It looked really brutal for the 1, 2, 3. And yeah, this was actually one of the best, most fun matches I've seen in yonks, and it was brilliant, and I loved it. And I don't think Jericho loses anything losing this match. I think he's put over quite strong. Yeah,
he looked strong. He took the one winged angel. He managed to kick out of it. He delivered. Basically, he kicked the shit out of the United States champion, the guy who took Okada to like 3 fantastic matches. And Jericho's nearly 50 at this point, and he just beat the shit out of him. He came with so much hype, saying like he was the alpha, and people were expecting him to transition with his current WWE character. Instead, he's managed to reinvent himself within one match and like a couple programs of build-up.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're completely right.
The question on everyone's lips is this it, or is he coming back for more? And after this match, it was like, fucking hell, I really hope he is staying, because he could go for everyone. And mercifully, it looks like he is staying for a few more matches. But no, this match
we'll get to that.
Yeah, but this match was absolutely fantastic. Again, it's Omega, so the man at this point, I've not seen him have a bad match. But this was
he's number 1/number 2 best in the world. I don't think you can deny it. I really don't think you can deny anyone. Yeah.
This is where there's a little difference in opinion. Whereas I think Omega is the literal Omega of New Japan and the wrestling world at the moment. But this was Jericho's best match in fucking ages, and that's not a slight on Jericho, because the man's got a Hall of Fame, to push the WWE terminology, a Hall of Fame worthy career. But this match was just fantastic, and I just want to see more of this Jericho. I want to see him go through the whole New Japan roster and have these glorious little matches.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that was that match, and that was the match of the night, as far as I'm concerned. Not wanting to ruin the main event, but that was the match of the night.
If we're going to do spoilers, I'm very torn between that and the Fatal 4-Way. But I do remember a lot of that match, so I'll think about it after the end of this match, our main event.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to the main event?
Let's do it. Big fight, Phil, man.
It did have a big fight, Phil, yeah. So, Okada was defending his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Tetsuya Naito, G1 Climax winner. And much to the surprise of the Western audience, I think, Okada retained. He beat Naito.
I think
36 minutes, 30 seconds.
It definitely, because obviously this was pushed as, this is New Japan's WrestleMania, and everyone's like, so like WrestleMania most of the time, excluding like WrestleMania 2000, where the guy coming in with all the hype going in will leave with the World Championship. This felt like this was not the case.
I have some trivia for you based on that, but I think I want to mention that in the wrap. I think we'll talk about this match, and I think it'd be quite interesting to talk about the culture of main event Tokyo Dome actually, and how this booking actually sits with it. Because I think you'd be quite surprised if you haven't looked into it before, how this match is actually quite. This match is actually quite typical New Japan main event. The champion retains.
Yeah. I did read comments before the actual show took place where it's like everyone was like, "Oh, it's Naito's time," and I'm like, "Yeah, it has to be. He's got all the hype going into it." Everyone was like,
"Has to be,"
but everyone was like, "Well, they never changed the world title at the Tokyo Dome." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What do you mean they don't turn the title over?"
We'll get to this. We'll get to this. Let's just go through the. Yeah, it was a good match. One thing I'll say is that this is the battle of the least effective finishers in pro wrestling.
I feel so sorry for Naito because of that fucking the Destino is amazing. It's so good.
What have I got here? I did. So there were 3 Rainmakers and there were 3 Destinos.
That's quite good for them too, to be honest. But after the scene, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna hit 50.
Right, yeah. So very big match feel. Okada was wearing bell bottoms, which I'll be honest, I started to like towards the end of the match.
I thought they were good throughout the match.
Yeah, no, it was right. It was a slow start. There was a lot of Naito's Tranquillo kind of spots, where he's like, kind of, oh yeah, chill out, we'll get to it.
I disagree with them starting slow. I thought the very start of this match they started went straight to 5th because they did like the crossbody. Sorry,
to an extent, yeah, I think you're right. But I think there was a lot of Naito did do his stalling spots though. The kind of like, chill out.
Yeah, it's like, calm down, guys. I'll get to it. Don't worry.
He does spit a lot, doesn't he?
Naito.
You notice that he loves gobbing around. That's a Mexican thing. That's what.
Yeah,
LIJ. Obviously, LIJ's a Mexican gimmick and or Mexican stable that he brought to Japan, and I think he brought the gobbing with him as well.
Nice, disgusting.
No, it started off all right. Yeah, no, there was some good spots. The spike DDT, Okada on Naito. Did you notice that Gedo spoke English ringside for the whole match? He was shouting. He was quite annoying actually in a lot of places, but he was going, Okada. He speaks really good English, and he was like speaking like he was like geeing Okada up in English.
Well, if I remember, Japanese wrestlers learn their spots in Japanese and English, but they don't necessarily learn the entire English language. I think I've read that from Jericho.
I'm fairly certain that if a Japanese wrestler learns English to a degree where he can work anywhere, then he opens up a few more revenue avenues, doesn't he? By being booked in Japan and England and Europe. And,
yeah. But he won't be able to use all of those words in context. Like, I'm going to go to the coffee shop and have a drop kick or something.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was good. You had your good in-ring stuff at the start. Then they went outside and did quite a lot of spots on the outside. I think there was a draped DDT from the rail to the floor, which again, Japanese wrestlers just don't care about their necks, do they? So
no, exactly. Well, the story of this match was, what do you call it? Naito aiming for the neck, if I remember. Yeah, he did several neck breakers and other moves.
Yeah, that was part of the story because 2017 Okada's neck was basically fucked. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, there was some good moves. There was a huge top rope reversed Hurricanrana from Naito, which was beautiful.
Yeah, that was that was like picture perfect. Fantastic.
And it was again right on Okada's neck. That was picture perfect. There's a story that was told in this match, and it actually, I think it, I think in hindsight, and if you know, or if I'd recommend anyone who hasn't to go onto YouTube and to watch videos made by a person called Showbuckle, because this guy is really good at, he makes videos which really delve into how stories are told in New Japan and in
Oh yeah,
feuds.
I've seen the one
Yeah.
about Naito.
So so Naito goes for Stardust Express about 2 or 3 times in this match, and that's
Yeah.
his old finisher. And
Hmm.
that was the finisher that he used to use back at the time when he was denied the Wrestle Kingdom main event. When the experiment of the Naito face experiment bombed and
Yeah, that's
he
right.
lost to Okada, right? So if you're in hindsight, that's when I knew. That's when I should have known that he was going to lose, because by doing that, by going for the Stardust Express like he was, that actually telegraphed the fact that Naito was still in a mind frame of um, I'm gonna get revenge for not getting my main event back then when I was the Stardust Genius Naito.
Hmm.
Instead, the story should have been, if Naito was going to win, the story New Japan would have told was Naito has fully abandoned his old persona. He's now the new Naito who's going to win. He's turned the leaf. When he started doing the Stardust Express thing, that's when you kind of thought, oh, hang on, he hasn't let go of the previous thing, and that's what is going to let him down. That's where Okada is going to find the flaw and beat him. And again, in hindsight, I think that's where you can see that's where that's very subtle story was told. So he goes to that movie, misses it a few times. Um, yeah, and then it kind of, we kind of started moving into the end. There was a lot of Pele kicks, missile drop kicks that Okada hits are just absolutely fucking beautiful. Um, there was a couple of big German spots. There was a very odd homoerotic moment when Okada had Naito around the waist, and Naito was holding on to the ropes and not letting go, and it kind of looked it looked a little bit sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a story actually. He kept putting on the Cobra Clutch.
Yes. What the fuck was that
So
about?
that's so basically before the match. In typical pro wrestling's style, it was once I'm going to get you in the Destino, and Okada said, "Well, I've discovered a counter for the Destino, and the Destino counter is the Cobra Clutch," and that's where that. So they're trying to put over that. Technically, it's him adding a move to his moveset, and yeah, so that's he's using the Cobra Clutch now, and it seemed to be effective in some
I was
ways.
going to say because
Um,
not Naito, Okada's finishes, as you've pointed out at the very start of this match, they're like the weakest in all of New Japan. So
mm,
maybe the idea of him gaining a new finisher, which in this case is the Cobra Clutch, that would have been cool if he maybe lost by submission, but
mm,
that wasn't to be with this. So it's just another little subtle twist on the actual story that at least Okada has prepared for this match. So fair
mm.
fucks, some good booking.
Yeah, so Okada hits a Rainmaker, or according to Kevin Kelly, Rainmaker, and which kind of signaled that this was going into the last gear and into the sort of like last 10, 15 minutes. So I'm just going to read my notes from that. So, Rainmaker for near fall, obviously, that's one Rainmaker. Rainmaker is a good move. It looks good, but it very rarely finishes big matches now. In fact, big match, it never finishes it. He puts a Cobra Clutch on again. That's reversed into a Destino for Destino number one. He didn't go for a pin. They're both exhausted. Okada is selling so much that he's too tired to even throw a punch. They start forearming each other. Naito gobs at Okada's face again with a big old slap of disrespect. There was a weird kind of odd botched Hurricanrana head scissor thing. I don't know if it was botched. It was just weird from Naito on Okada. Destino attempt turned into Rainmaker number 2, and he retains wrist control, which is a big thing. So Don Callis he's got that wrist. He's got that wrist. He's got the wrist. They both get up. He goes for a third Rainmaker. It's reversed into the second Destino. Another near fall. Naito goes for a third Destino. It's reversed with it's countered with elbows. Naito hits a big enziguri. Okada hits one of his absolutely beautiful drop kicks. Absolute beautiful. Probably he's the best in the world at drop kicks. It's a weird thing to say, but it just really is. Okada hits the tombstone. He goes for another Rainmaker. It's reversed into a third Destino. And Naito does that thing where when he's going for the finish, he does a kind of like more softer Destino, and then he gets up straight away and does another Destino. So he hits this Destino. He goes for the fourth Destino, and it's reversed into Okada's spinning tombstone. And then that is followed by Rainmaker number 3, which is a fucking hard Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3. Okada retains the title. And that's the end of the main event. And that is the end of Wrestle Kingdom 12. I mean, anyone who hears that recap of the last 10 minutes of this match and doesn't go to YouTube or try to watch it, I mean, whatever, you don't like wrestling, fair enough. It was mad. It was good. It was, any other card in New Japan in the year, that's probably match of the night. But I think Jericho and Omega beat them. It was very good. I feel sorry for Naito, but I think there's reasons for it, and I can go into that in more detail if you want me to.
Yeah, of course. My opinion on the match is very similar, to be honest. I thought this was a great match. I thought the difference, of course, is going back to the earlier point where I thought they did start off quite quick. Very good storytelling. I did not know about press conferences and stuff. And I did know, for courtesy of that YouTube video, about the Stardust... I say I know about it, but I know it's Stardust Express.
Stardust Express, yeah.
But I didn't know about that level of detail. But that seems... so
Mate,
well.
watch the video.
No, that seems like a very smart thing, but the commentators didn't put that over, I don't think, which was a shame. No, actually, they said, "Oh, is you reusing the same moves?" I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't realize he was actually the level of storytelling is he can't let it go. He has to win this way because otherwise, what's the point of this journey?
That's my interpretation, and I'm fairly sure that in 6 months to a year's time, Showbuckle will do a video where he says the same thing. Seriously, watch these videos; they're so good.
Yeah, no. I fully agree with it. I think that's very good storytelling. It's a shame that no one else seems to have picked up on it. This match is a very good example of crescendo booking, though, where it's all leading up to the very end. It's not boring before the final segment. It's very entertaining, but it is literally a case of you're now waiting for these two to hit their finishing moves, however many they may be. And the ending is a shocker, in my opinion. It's again, despite the fact that all evidence points out that the title doesn't change hands at the Tokyo Dome, it's a shame because Naito had all the hype in the world going in for this match, and I thought, as I put on Twitter, I thought it's his day in the sun. This is his moment, but obviously they want Okada to keep holding that title to beat more records.
The booking of like the G1 winner and the Tokyo Dome main event and the champion is just... we think that Naito should win, and if you go on Squared Circle and places like that and you look at it, everyone's gutted. I was gutted.
Yeah,
gutted. Right, but it's just, if you actually look at it, it falls into the category of new. It's so normal, right? And I'm going to use some examples here, right? So this match and this result, as disappointing as it is to newer fans and to Western fans and probably to Japanese fans, LIJ are huge. It just falls in line with New Japan booking so much, right? And just to make it clear, I think that I don't think that there will ever be a more hot and willing crowd to give Naito his win. I think I could be wrong, and I think history probably says that I'm wrong. But I think that if they did this next year or the year after, I don't think that there'll be a crowd that will be as willing and to cheer that victory as they had today. Yesterday. But again, I could be wrong, right? But I'll use an example of how this booking is quite normal. So, Okada and Tanahashi's feud, right? They had a long feud and they traded wins, but they had 3 Wrestle Kingdom matches. They had a Wrestle Kingdom trilogy. And just using that as an example, right? You would say that that trilogy is what made Okada the champion and the asset that he is today. But if you go back and look at it, right? Tanahashi beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 7, and that was when Okada wasn't particularly ready to be the guy. When Okada started to get ready, which you could probably connect to this event here, so Naito's ready. Naito could be the guy. Wrestle Kingdom 9, Okada could have been the guy. We're only talking a couple of years ago, right? And Tanahashi beat him again. And it was the whole story is that look, you're ready, but you can't beat me at the biggest. This is the biggest stage, and I'm the biggest guy. You can't beat me, right? And then when actually Okada did beat Tanahashi, it wasn't for the belt; it was to defend the belt. So it was more a case of, and the story behind that at Wrestle Kingdom 10 was, you might have the belt, Okada, right? But I'm Tanahashi, and you've never beaten me at Wrestle Kingdom before, and I'm going to go to Wrestle Kingdom and I'm going to beat you because that's what happens. And he beats him and he defends it. And the story is that Okada has finally proven on the biggest stage against his biggest rival that yes, he is the guy, and that's the Okada we have now, right? So it took him 3 attempts to beat Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, right? And even when he did win the belt, when he did beat Tanahashi, he didn't even win the belt. It wasn't like a big thing. It was a defense, right? Which leads me to another thing. How many times? So there's been 12 Wrestle Kingdoms. In those 12 Wrestle Kingdoms, how many times do you think the world title has changed hands?
4.
The answer's 3. I can tell you them as well. One of them was, and this is a very interesting thing, right? So Nakamura defeated Tanahashi Wrestle Kingdom 2. Tanahashi defeated Muto at Wrestle Kingdom 3, and Tanahashi beat Kojima at Wrestle Kingdom 5. The world title has not changed hands at Wrestle Kingdom for 7 years. 7 years.
I know.
Right? And the G1 winner has got an immediate title. Well, not immediate. So the G1 winner's got a title shot, depending if he defeats the people that defeated him during the G1 at Wrestle Kingdom since 2012. Since 2012, how many people have won? Well, I've already answered it for you. But since 2012, how many people have won the G1 and then won the IWGP World Title at Wrestle Kingdom?
0.
It's never. No. That's normal, right? It's just it's a one big story thing. So to me, and I know I'm going sort of deep here with this in a way,
We're going
right?
balls
But to
deep,
me,
folks.
so this is the second time Naito has faced Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. The first time was that the whole debacle when the match got relegated to second main event because the fans wanted to see Nakamura Ibushi, which was right because Nakamura Ibushi that year was amazing. So that was terrible. He then went away to Mexico and came back as the awesome wanker Stone Cold Steve Austin Naito we have today. So then the second match they have at Wrestle Kingdom, it's similar to the second match that Okada had with Tanahashi. It's like, oh right, he's ready to beat him. He could beat him this time, but nope, you're not ready. This story still has to be told. And so I do think that in the future, Naito will beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom at the Dome. I don't know if it'll be main event or not. I don't know if he'll be champion at the time or he'll be winning the title, but it will happen because that's how they tell the story. And this is in line with the fact that there's still another story being told with the IWGP title, and that story is the Omega and Okada story. And they've already had a trilogy, and they're still undecided. So as great as the story with Naito is, you've also got this story where Okada and Omega still have a beef.
Unfinished business.
And the fact is that Omega did beat Okada at the G1. Therefore, during 2018, Omega has a title shot. You know, that's how the system works. So you've got. So this is the thing. This is the beauty of New Japan, and I suppose the way Gedo books is that you've got two huge rivals that Naito's a few wins away from getting another title shot. Omega has a title shot, and they'll pull the trigger on that eventually, and it will be wonderful. So really, you've only got to pick. You know, that's the way it is, and that's just how they tell stories. So when Naito doesn't win this match, I kind of think, oh shit, this is disappointing. But then you go, oh, actually, he'll get there. He'll get it. They'll give him the win. They just make you wait. They build it. They build it. They build it. They build it. And by building it, Naito's going to be a bigger star, as big a star as he possibly can be. Same as Okada right now is this huge, massive star in Japan, right? And he's becoming a massive star worldwide. But he wouldn't be that star if he didn't have to go through the same thing Naito's going through now, but with Tanahashi. And I've just been talking for a very long time about the nuances of New Japan booking, but I actually find it quite. I find it really, really quite fascinating.
It is, because it basically means Naito's journey is a kind of weird dark mirror of Okada's one, which would mean is the conclusion to this where if Naito does follow the exact same journey and does actually beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, does that mean that the pair of them then have to face off in like one final battle as such? Because Naito's 36 at the moment.
Yeah, he's got some years in him though.
So he's got he does have years, sparing injury as such. But I do generally think that see that this is just my conditioning because I'm used to the WWE's booking system, because it's the equivalent of the Royal Rumble winner never beating the champion at WrestleMania. But
which we're not conditioned to.
No, which is the difference between New Japan and WWE, where WrestleMania is, it's a season conclusion, season finale, I should say, where the faces walk out usually on top, sparing a few examples, like WrestleMania 2000. Whereas this one, New Japan is still principally a sport. There isn't necessarily happy endings. And it's weird because this encounter is, Okada is technically still face. Naito's not. Naito's just a cool heel. Although there is elements where at the end of the promo where he's asking him, I try to understand some of it. I think Okada was basically saying how, there's still seats he needs to sell out. He wants to try and unite the entire brand under himself. He's number one, and it's not over yet between them, which was a nice little nod. The only thing I would say, though, at this point with New Japan is that the way Okada's been booked, who is left at the moment to face him? Who can realistically beat him? Because
I think Naito or Omega will be the ones that dethrone him for a long period. But I don't know. It might be someone like Sanada. As I mentioned earlier, New Year's Dash happens a day after Wrestle Kingdom. It's like the kind of, as you said earlier, it's the Raw after WrestleMania. So the storylines that are coming up, it's actually quite interesting. I'll go through them. So it's mainly tag matches with like one or two odd, single match. There was a single match between Jay White and Kitamura because Kitamura's doing some weird 7-match challenge. Anyway, Jay White won that, but it doesn't matter. There was a tag match which was like Bullet Club against the team with Ibushi, I believe. I can't remember. But at the end of the match, Cody started beating down Ibushi, and Omega actually made the save on Ibushi, which caused some friction in the Bullet Club. Omega said that we need to be closer, and to get rid of this friction, I actually want to bring in another member. He offered Jay White, Switchblade, a spot in the Bullet Club. He took the t-shirt, he put it on, and then he did the Blade Runner, his finishing move on Omega. So that's the US title feud going forward is going to be Jay White and Kenny Omega, which actually should be quite good. In another tag match, which featured Suzuki Gun against, I believe, Taguchi Japan stable, that ended with Suzuki putting on a leg lock on Tanahashi's really bad knee, really hurting Tanahashi, and then he challenged him for the IC title belt. So Tanahashi and Suzuki is your next feud for the Intercontinental title, which I think is going to be really good.
Yes, it will. Hopefully that Suzuki's going to get the...
The main event brought about a lot of storyline. So it was LIJ against Chaos in was it a 10-man or a 8-man? I can't remember. But anyway, at the end of the match, LIJ beat down Chaos and then focused on Okada. The actual ending of the beatdown was that Sanada put Okada in a chokehold and choked him out. which then led to a Naito. You know, like Japanese shows always end with whoever's on top at the end, like with the microphone talking to the crowd. Naito. Spoiler. Naito did a talk, speech at the end, and Jericho ran out and beat up Naito, and they had a brawl. Naito spat at him about 10 times, and it was brilliant. Jericho was on absolute form. So Naito and Jericho is a program that we're going to be seeing very soon. Very cool. And then in the interviews afterwards, in the press, like they do like a kind of press conferencey thing. Evil challenged Goto for the never open weight title, so that's going to be a program. Hiromu Takahashi put a challenge to Will Ospreay, so that's going to be a program for the junior belt. And Sanada actually backed up choking out Okada by challenging him, so that could be your like an interim IWGP title feud. So see what I mean? The New Year's Dash is a very busy show with lots of storylines.
Jesus. Well, it looks optimistic. Looks good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, before we actually started watching this show, that I felt far more optimistic about watching a potential 5 or 6 hour New Japan show, which is the equivalent of their WrestleMania, as opposed to actual WrestleMania, which I'm still dreading at this point. I don't think it's going to be a good show. I'd love to be proven wrong, but with Wrestle Kingdom, I mean, this was my first full Wrestle Kingdom ever. I've only seen select matches when I've got moments free, and I was thoroughly enjoyed, minus one hiccup of a match. But this is, again, it's a solid show. I don't think it's as good as Dominion was last year, and I didn't see Wrestle Kingdom 11, so I can't make judgment on that. But overall, it was a very concise and very entertaining show with some very smart booking, as evidence from the diatribe with the main event, which gives a bit more newfound respect for the direction they're going. Obviously, again, like a lot of people listening to this, a bit frustrated, but that's my own kind of preplexed notion of what I think the title scene should be, but that's because of being conditioned by the WWE programming, whereas New Japan obviously have some sort of long-form planning in place for their world title scene and don't jeopardize it by just hot potato in the title on who's the hot shit of the month.
I think what I said earlier, like trying to explain it, made sense. I think it did.
Yes, no, I didn't have a clue about the. I have watched that.
I think and I think it will come to pass that is the case. But we'll see. I mean, you never know, do you? So
no, exactly. I know wrestling's predictable. Wrestling can be unpredictable, but I think if a storyline makes sense, then it is predictable because that's where we want to see the storyline ascend to as such. So if it does lead to that, where as you point out, if it is the case of Naito undertaking the same journey as Okada did to get to the world title, and then it will lead to a crossroads, pardon the pun, of the two of them realizing that there can only be one ace in New Japan, then I'm all for it. It's long form storyline, so we'll be here for years now waiting for this to take place. But this show, fantastic. If again, similar to Dominion, if you've never actually seen New Japan, it's very accessible and it's highly entertaining. And it's not a show where, I mean, it is a long show. It did drag a little bit longer than Dominion, but it doesn't feel like WrestleMania, where you feel like the life force leave your body as you
people probably feel like that after listening to this episode of this podcast.
Oh my god, they've spent 2 hours talking about New Japan. When the fuck are they going to start shitting on Roman? Get on with it.
Interesting, though.
It is fascinating,
right? Yeah, I think that brings us to an end of episode.
Oh, poor SoundCloud account. Oh my god,
this bumper edition of Smarks Without Attitude, episodes 11 and 12.
Take 2 months off, and we pull you straight back in.
Thanks for listening. Usual places, you can get us on YouTube. Search for us on there. SoundCloud / Smarks Without Attitude. SWA_podcast on Twitter. By the time you hear this, we should be a bit more active. smarkswithoutattitude@gmail.com if you have got this far listening to this episode and you want to talk to and you want to email us anything correct, even if you want to correct me, please correct me. Do that. Thanks for listening. It's a goodbye from me, Reese. Goodbye, and a goodbye from Harry.
It is a goodbye.